The following is a production of cprundown.com. The views and opinions expressed by the hosts of this podcast are those of the individual and not of any affiliated companies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast covering the Cedar Fair Entertainment Company, the amusement industry, and the business of fun. Here are your hosts, Karsten Anderson, Evan Schultz, and Kyle Huth.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast where we cover Cedar Fair, Cedar Point, and everything to do with fun. So, it has been a good, 4 or 5 months. I mean, not that long, but...
Seems like it.
It's been a while since we've actually gone live.
Yeah.
You're seeing our beautiful faces again.
Exactly. I got, my lips all cut up right now because I cut myself when I was shaving. So we got that to look forward to.
I haven't shaved in a minute since I've been sick.
We're just a mess, but it's all good.
Yeah. Well, it is the off season, so we got to do something to keep the feet active.
Exactly, right? We're going to watch Kyle's facial hair grow week by week by week.
We're going to have a webcam on it.
It'll be more active than a Cedar Point webcam.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Good stuff. A little housekeeping right here at the top of the show. While we are in the off season, we're not necessarily going to record every week. We're going to try to do twice a month at least.
Yeah.
But it's mostly going to be when the news presents itself. So that's something to keep in mind.
Mm-hmm. And we do have ideas for our own little topics.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of ideas actually. I'm excited about what we've talked about, and then so it's gonna be cool. And we also a little note that Kyle forgot to mention is we're kind of experimenting with Skype and not Zoom because the whole 40-minute thing was not going to work for us, obviously, for being live and wanting to talk and stuff. So bear with us if audio sounds a little interesting, possibly. I don't know. We'll have to find out and see.
Or maybe it'll be better. Give us feedback.
I mean, a little behind the scenes, I kind of had to redo everything today. So I spent a good 4 hours getting everything ready to go again.
You didn't tell us that part.
So wherever we were,
you're not getting paid. You do realize that,
I
right?
do.
He's getting paid in amusement park bucks, from up above.
He lives in Orlando. That's
exactly.
Yeah, right.
Whatever kind of quality our last episode was on, it might take a little bit to get there again, but we're working on it. So bear with us.
Maybe we're already above that because honestly, screw Zoom.
Yeah, the 40-minute thing, that was a pain because guys didn't know a little behind the scenes. We would have to record, stop, and then pretty much go back to where we were at. So that was Kyle
had to splice it all together.
Yeah, we did probably 3 episodes like that, at least 3 or 4.
Yeah, but Kyle did great. So good job, Kyle. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I was listening for every single time, and I couldn't hear the difference. So it was good. So
anyways, Kyle, let's talk about Florida.
Yeah, so, for the first time in my life, I have the opportunity for year-round parks.
Yeah, get ready for that hurricane that's coming. Nicole.
Yeah, can we talk about that for a second? I missed the first one.
Wait, there's another one?
Yes.
So our hurricane season is over, right? But currently we have a hurricane that's heading towards, a subtropical storm that's going to hit ground at maybe hurricane strength, but maybe not, so we don't know. But
okay, well, it's not going to be Ian part 2.
No. It'll be a little one. But either way, we're going to get some pretty crappy weather later in the week.
Lovely.
I think we're going to get it later on after you guys get it, so yay.
Well, I mean, last time we recorded, I escaped it in Florida and then got hit in Virginia, so.
Right. Right. That's coming back.
If I can't get out of it, you guys can't either.
Oh, I wonder if that's all the rain that I'm going to have to dodge this weekend at Busch Gardens. Oop.
Yeah, it's supposed to hit here Thursday, so that lines up. Because when I was at Busch Gardens during a hurricane a month ago, it hit 2 days later.
Nice. Love it.
So Florida, this is going back to not this past Friday, but the Friday before. I went to Busch Gardens, Tampa, for my first time in a year. That was super fun. I went, I try to be pretty optimistic at parks and not poo-poo on parks. I can have a good day at pretty much any park, but the last time I went to Busch Tampa was not fun because I didn't live down here at the time. It was like 1,000,000 degrees and I wasn't used to the heat, and a lot of different stuff was closed. Like all of the animal exhibits were closed. Trains were, if the rides were open, they were running like one train. So like it just.
What time of year did you go?
In very early May.
Oh wow.
Of 2021.
I mean, it's not exactly the off season.
Parks and not. Yeah, because it was before I started at Cedar Point.
Okay.
For the actual 150th, but
okay.
Anyway, I went a couple Fridays ago and I had a great time. It was a night that they had Howl-O-Scream, and I didn't go for Howl-O-Scream, so the park was like dead.
Because everybody was waiting to come till later.
Yep, everyone was waiting to come till later. I'm a Busch SeaWorld gold pass holder now, so I got to sit up in there. I know, big shot, yeah.
Like Justin over there.
Yeah. So their pass holder lounge is pretty fun. And now the good part.
Pictures of that.
Yeah, and now the good part. Iron Gwazi, that thing kicks.
Yeah, you were saying, you were like, it was better than Steel Vengeance, and I was like, what? No,
it's definitely not as long. Like that part is painfully clear because it ends pretty quick. I mean, it's a good amount, but my gripe with Steel Vengeance is it's probably the best coaster in the United States, probably Steel Vengeance, but
even better than Velosa.
Well, I mean, it's up there, right? Like it's one of the best coasters in the United States, but I cannot ride that thing for more than a couple laps. It just beats you up.
Yeah, its re-rideability isn't exactly high.
Yeah, and Iron Gwazi has that good re-rideability where it throws you around, but it doesn't hurt. Like it doesn't have the airtime problem that Steel Vengeance does, but it still has airtime. It's quick, it's snappy. I mean, it's really good. I think it might top Steel Vengeance for me just in the fact that it's more re-rideable. But
okay.
Operations wise, not because I rode it like 4 times, and each time we were pushing like 4-minute dispatches.
Oh,
yeah, it was not great.
See, that's what's nice with Cedar Point is, I know they get a lot of flack, but they really like when they're pushing. They're always trying to push trains. They always are trying to push trains, and that's one thing that you'll always notice when you go to a different park. You know, maybe not a Cedar Fair, but even a Cedar Fair park is Cedar Point is like just push. Yeah, they sell a crap ton of fast lanes, but like they back it up to where they move the line really fast when they can, when they've got the staff to do it. So
whenever you complain about Cedar Point lines, just remember that we could have 4-minute dispatches.
Oh man,
well,
that's ugly.
Even
Six Flags is better than that.
Having been to Busch Williamsburg, Busch Tampa, and King's Dominion, or not King's Dominion, SeaWorld, all within like a month, I think their problem is they don't have enough seat checkers. A regular coaster crew at any of these parks is 3 people. Well,
wow.
2 station attendants and then controls.
I was going to say Steel Vengeance has 4. They, the top, in the front, and then
the 4 corners,
the back, and then Then they got a person over at the exit gate, and then they got another person that's doing crowd and.
Yep.
Maybe it's just a staffing issue.
The typical SeaWorld Busch Gardens layout is front left there's an attendant and back right there's an attendant, and they go up and they meet in the middle.
Are you allowed to pull down your restraint?
On Iron Gwazi you are.
Okay.
But they do it kind of weird, where how on Steel Vengeance they come through and they check your seatbelt and then they push your lap bar down and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
On Iron Gwazi, you buckle your seatbelt, and then they come through and they check your seatbelt, and then they make everyone pull their lap bars down, and then they go through and check their lap bars.
Well, there's your 4-minute dispatch time.
Yeah. And with only 2 seat checkers, if someone's too big, if someone has a problem, someone doesn't want to ride, you're eating into time.
Right.
Now, I will say, other rides at SeaWorld and Busch Gardens have awesome dispatch times. Mm-hmm. But Iron Gwazi, every time I rode it...
This just seems like a protocol issue.
Mm-hmm. Now, I will say, I've had one visit to Bush Tampa so far. So like all of my observations are from one visit. So maybe
on a not busy time.
Yeah, on a not busy time. So maybe that's not the norm.
Interesting.
But no, yeah, as far as Busch Gardens Tampa goes though, I loved it. I still don't like Cobra's Curse that much. It makes me sick.
Oh, that's like that. As far as family coasters go, that's such a bucket list for me. I don't know. It just looks. I don't know. It just looks fun.
It's good, but the damn thing makes me sick. Like, I don't know what it is. I've never gotten sick on a ride before, but that one always makes me feel a little shaky.
Maybe it's the spinning and then like the mix of you're in Tampa.
Yeah. But yeah.
Heat.
As far as Iron Gwazi goes though, like definitely top 5, top 1, top 2 coaster. It's awesome.
That's how I mean, when we compare, RMCs, that's how I felt about Zadra. Was it was that great mix of just relentless, but it wasn't 4 minutes long or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, and Iron Gwazi just, it doesn't beat you up. Like, I love Steel Vengeance, but it beats you up.
Yeah.
It
I agree.
tosses you around and throws you from side to side. And Iron Gwazi still has all the same crazy maneuvers. It's just
more seamless.
It's just not as intense,
Yeah. So
makes sense.
Did Iron Gwazi hit the brakes with a ton of steam?
Oh hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
That's sad.
I
mean,
oh my god, the first time I rode Zadra over in Arizlandia, I mean, we got thrown into like the into the lap bar because we weren't expecting it to hit the brakes so hard because it flew into the brakes.
Yeah.
That's sad because like look at all that potential that they could still keep put an element or something into it, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, the first time I rode Iron Gwazi, I was like genuinely scared that we were gonna like go into the brakes too fast and like something was gonna happen and we were just gonna fly through.
Yeah.
Thank God for magnetic brakes.
Yeah, because you hit with a lot of steam.
Right.
Okay.
So that was the first thing I did, and then that was 2 Fridays ago, and then that Sunday, our friendly neighborhood announcer Justin, he was watching the stream at some point. I don't know if he still is.
Hi, Justin.
So.
Yeah, if he is, hi Justin.
Hi, Justin's mom too.
He was in town for Halloween Horror Nights, so we went over to HHN with him for 2 nights, Sunday and then actually on Halloween. That was really cool. It was great to catch up with him, spend time.
Oh yeah.
So quick, because HHN is over. Give us
HHN
like
is
your
over.
quick, like don't even explain it, just top to bottom houses or bottom to top, whatever you.
All right, top to bottom.
Because I know that was a big thing with you. Was
I'm
breaking
curious
the
too.
houses.
I'm not going to say a word.
Carson, you can fight me after we're done. After I'm done reading it.
Fair.
And I want to make a disclaimer. I am not basing these off of a single weekend run like you are. I am basing these off of an entire season of either a reliably good house, like just there's a couple different factors. So
Okay.
as soon as I say the first one, you're gonna roll your eyes. But
are we going bottom or
we're
bottom to top
gonna
or top
start
to
we're gonna start with number 1 and work our way down
Ooh,
to 10.
Okay.
All right, number 1, Halloween.
Okay.
Yep, I knew he was gonna laugh.
Okay.
2, Dead Man's Pier.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
3.
You thought that was gonna be your number 1.
Yep. 3.
That was my number 1.
3, Bugs Eaten Alive.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
That makes-
4.
The theming, the theming for that, and then like how everything was just tied together, and how you would. Sorry, spoiler alert. Now I can talk about it.
Yeah.
You'd like walk through, and like there was like air conditionings on the wall, kind of makeshift air conditionings, and they would all fog out, and that would be the fog would be like what was that was their
Making
I guess
them come to
propellant
life
kind
or
of thing.
whatever.
Yep.
To like make the bugs like their goal was to make the bugs bigger to where their heart and everything will just explode inside. Well, it went wrong. Yep, it went wrong, and then the bugs are just massive, and so you keep walking through, and all you see are all these giant air conditioners that are just fogging everything out, and all these bugs are just crawling everywhere. It was so good. I thought it was great. I thought it was really good.
It was good, but we had a couple people like Abby didn't like it. And so she would only do it once. My girlfriend Ray refused to go through it at all. So if I was ever there with her, I didn't go through it. So I really only got like 3 run-throughs of it this season, or
I thought it was great.
like 4 or 5.
I think we did. I think I probably did 2 of those with you.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, 3 bugs. For the weekend.
Okay.
5 Fiesta de Chupacabra.
Wow. Okay.
6 Spirits of the Coven.
Okay.
7 Universal Monsters.
Yeah.
8
I can see that.
8 Descendants of Destruction.
God, they have so many houses.
9 Hellblock Horror, and 10 Blumhouse.
I would agree with a lot of your list.
Now
I heard Blumhouse. I heard a lot of people complain about Blumhouse.
Yeah.
I want to say, with the exception of Blumhouse, they did not have a bad house this year. Normally, you go to Horror Nights and like 4 or 5 of them are just not as good as the others. This was probably the strongest year that I've gone to the event in the terms.
There was
of,
like an even like slope. It was like solid, yes. And then it was like they started at maybe like a 7 for me.
Yeah.
And then they gradually went to like an 8 to a 9 to a 10. So
what was so bad about Blumhouse?
It just wasn't that.
The way it was put together.
Yeah. First of all, they put it together in 2 houses where it's like Blumhouse is a horror movie franchise. Mm-hmm. So they picked Freaky and Black Phone. But the one house was really 2 because halfway through the house, when you transitioned to the other movie, you just walked outside and then into
you literally walk outside and you're like, oh,
that's not very universal.
Okay, and then it's like,
I think they relied way too heavily on just blacking out the house, and instead of like props and scares, just making it super dark, which I'm not in for. But like,
there wasn't a whole lot of prop going on either in the Black Phone area. It was kind of
But on any given night, you could come up to me, and there were like 6 houses that you could tell me that's my number one, and I'd look at you and be like, yeah, that checks out. Like, that's a good house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I didn't base my rankings on like a one night run through. Like, the reason Halloween was my favorite is because it consistently had the most good run throughs.
I love, like, another spoiler. They had a giant freaking house inside there to like silicate, like going inside of a house and like a neighborhood, and it was so good.
And like for a while, the weekend was my favorite, but then towards the end of the event, the weekend started not having as good of run throughs. So then it's like, well,
right,
so it's
so what have you done for me lately, kind of thing.
Yeah. But yeah, this was an awesome year. Like there were so many good houses this year.
I gotta go.
Halloween.
I think next year's the year.
The Nightmare Fuel Wildfire show, while I'm not the biggest fan, did very well this year.
Yeah, I'd say so. And I also, for that weekend, another spoiler, like there's one scene where like you're walking in and like if anybody remembers with the Super Bowl when they had the weekend on, you literally like walk out there
the like mirrors and all that.
The mirrors and the lights and everything. It's literally like that, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is like exactly what the Super Bowl looked like. I was like,
did you have a camera right up in your face and look around like, oh?
No, but that was a solid house too. That was really good.
The one thing I already missed the most was Ghoulish, A Halloween Tale. That was their Lagoon show. That got damaged for the hurricane and never made it back for the end of the year. So,
oh no! Okay.
Yeah, I was real upset about that. I really liked
that. Was a cool show. That was like a solid show. It was cool. Wow! I'm glad I got to see it 3 times.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, Justin came down with Hannah, his friend Hannah. It was good hanging out with both of them. We all had Express, so we were just rocking and rolling all weekend.
That's good.
It's always good to see Justin.
That was closing weekend, right?
That was closing weekend. We went on the night before closing night and then closing night.
Okay.
So I talked about Busch Gardens. I talked about Horror Nights.
SeaWorld now?
Next up, I want to do the order I did this in. So next up would be last Thursday, the 3rd, I think, right? Was Thursday? Yeah, Thursday was the 3rd. Me, Dean, and Abby went to Hollywood Studios to see the reopening night of Fantasmic. And holy God, that was so cool.
So I have no idea what the obsession was with the show in the first place. I didn't know it was gone. I didn't know it was coming back until I saw social media just blow up that day. So
Fantasmic is, if you've ever seen the movie Fantasia, it's like Mickey Mouse conducting like water and shit. Yeah. It's a show based on nightmares. So Mickey's having a dream, and then villains take over and like try to not kill him because it's a Disney show, but try to like take over his dream, and then he's like, "This is my dream," and he fights back, and it's like a triumphant, story. It's really good. It's full of lasers. It's full of fireworks. It's full of water projections. It's full of actors, projection mapping, like everything. Now, this is a show that they have at Hollywood Studios in a big amphitheater that seats like 10,000 people. And
didn't know Hollywood Studios had an amphitheater.
yeah, most people don't, because as I'm going to tell you in a minute, I was there for the first show in 965 days. That's how long this show was closed. Wow. It closed with COVID and then never reopened. But it was so cool. Just to be in the atmosphere where everyone was so genuinely excited, and like,
yeah,
it was one of the best environments I've ever been in as far as a theme park goes. I know I think it was Carson had sent me a picture of like all the people lined up down Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah.
That was
crazy.
I got there like an hour after he sent me that picture, and I still made it in and found a seat, no problem.
It looked like you had a really good seat too.
Yeah, we did.
Right in the middle.
That was awesome. That's good stuff.
And then one thing that will stick with me, not stick with me, but made me think like, wow, this is like so genuinely cool, is they have a spot like behind all the seats up above, so essentially it's like stadium seating, right? So you walk all the way down and then people sit higher. Behind the last row of seats is like a standing area where like VIP stand. So like normally park executives, people who work on the show, things like that. Well, since this was the first show in a while, everyone that worked up there or like was sitting up there was like family of a Disney executive or like someone who worked on the show. And then after the show, like they were all like hugging each other and crying because like it went so well and it was the first time in so long. That was pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Having 10 or 15,000 people just screaming and cheering, and yeah, that's pretty cool to see your work like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to play a video for us. This video, you're not going to be able to see it for those of you watching, but you will be able to hear it, and that's all you need to do is hear it. This was a video that somebody took from the Disney Skyliner station, which if you don't know where that is, it's like a mile away from the like actual stadium. And this was the like opening roar of thunderous applause that you could hear almost a mile away. And like my girlfriend Ray, she works at Hollywood Studios in the Star Wars area, and she was on break and backstage at the time the show started, and she could hear like the just thunderous applause when the first notes of the show dropped.
That's cool.
So I'm gonna try to play a video. I think you'll be able to hear it. I need to check one setting first. Yeah, you should be able to hear it. So I'm just gonna play it, and I'll let you know like before the big like drop comes.
Sounds good.
Can you guys hear this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that was like the opening, like the lights turn on and everything. There's another part coming up that you're going to be able to, this is when Mickey Mouse like appears for the first time. You'll be able to hear the cheers. And just keep in mind, this is from almost a full mile away.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh my God.
It was crazy. I could not even hear myself think. It was just, it was super cool.
Wow.
Just being able
That's
to
awesome.
being able to be there for the first show is just like unlike anything I've ever done.
Oh, I'm sure you had crazy goosebumps and,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's so awesome. It's kind of like you said that this show was only ended because of COVID, and it's like, I'm not going to say COVID's gone, but not to get political.
Well, yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like, wow, COVID's over. We're back to normal. Like that. It's a feel good type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is an impressive show too. Like it's really good. The music score and everything. It's awesome.
Awesome.
All right, and then going back to like 2 days ago, I went to SeaWorld and rode Icebreaker.
Ooh.
And you hadn't ridden that yet?
Nope.
You hadn't even been to SeaWorld yet?
Nope.
Since you moved down there?
Nope.
Oh.
Man, you're slacking.
Yeah,
Right?
well,
That would have been like one of my first stops because I need to get on Mako.
I was busy. I had other stuff to do.
Okay.
And then I finally got the SeaWorld Platinum like Bush Pass. And I was like, all right,
that's fair.
Screw it, time to go. Dean and Abby also get free passes there for being teachers. That's something that they do. So we went there on
riding icebreakers educational.
Yeah. So we went there on Saturday, and Icebreaker is really fun. It's a lot more intense than it should be. Like it's quick. I mean, some of those transitions reminded me of Maverick.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Like they're very quick and snappy. But my God, are those
comfort collars?
First of all, they're uncomfortable as hell.
Uncomfort collars.
And two, they are so hard to get in and out of.
Worst. I hate those.
There's no leg room. There's this much room to get in and out.
I mean, I'm not a large person. You guys know this. I'm the exact opposite, and I struggle to get in and out of there.
Now I'm not
stupid.
Yeah, I'm not the smallest person out there, but like I got a little bit of a gut on me. But even like Dean and Abby, like they were, why is this so hard to get in and out of?
Right.
I mean, it's all those premier, like, I'm trying to think, like, Skyrocket at Kennywood, Tempesto,
yeah,
Busch Gardens,
Tempesto, Tigris, Skyrocket.
Why are those restraints and those trains like that?
And why
Skyrocket doesn't have the stupid collars. But...
Why does Icebreaker need that? It doesn't go upside down.
Right.
No.
I mean, the airtime's intense, but
yeah.
What is that flimsy little strap gonna do?
I think it's more of just giving a guest that has no idea, like, it's gonna make me, it's gonna keep me safer. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean,
screw the GPS.
I will say, Icebreaker is like very intense. So those airtime elements, you get like hiked up. I mean,
it's a good like bucking RMC motion.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's intense airtime. So like.
See, I always thought this was going to be like Baby Pantheon, but it doesn't seem like it's Baby Pantheon. It's a little elevated.
It's just shorter and not as long.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty cool though. You get 2 launches because you start backward, then forward, forward, and then make it over. The actual runtime of the coaster, like once you're through the launch, is only like 40 seconds. I mean, it's not long.
The launch is all the time.
But
is that technically a 4 launch coaster then?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Jeez.
Yeah, because you start backwards. You slide out into place, then your first launch is backwards.
Right. Okay.
That's cool.
See, this is what I want to happen to Dragster.
It fits very well in that section of SeaWorld, I will say.
Doesn't that kind of like wrap around another amphitheater?
Mm-hmm. And now I sent a picture in our chat the other day, but the new pipeline construction, that is now on the other side of the amphitheater. So that amphitheater will have 2 coasters on either side of it.
That's cool.
I love it.
Man, that coaster looks cool too, pipeline. I know we talked about it, but the construction pictures.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, it's pretty much just like hanging there right now. It's like chilling.
Yeah, it looks like Final Destination or something.
Right.
One more quick thing from Florida, and then I'll hand the reins over to you guys. I didn't even know that Kraken got a new paint job, but it did, and I don't like it.
Like 2 years ago.
Yeah, isn't it like a green or something?
Yeah, it's like Hulk. It's Hulk green. Like it's the same. It's the same color as the other sit-down B&M in town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why they. I don't know.
They could have just stuck with that turquoise.
Maybe they got a discounted green.
I don't know.
Hey.
When B&M redid Hulk, they were like, "Oh crap, we have too much paint." SeaWorld.
Yeah.
Right. And they're like, "Hey, do you guys want a green coaster?"
Yeah. Mako still rides as good as ever. Love that ride. That is a good run. It's between
I've heard that's the best hyper out there.
It's between that and Candemonium for me. I don't know which one I like better.
Candemonium is so good. Carson, I get the feeling you don't really like candy.
No, I mean it's good, but I think I got to give the edge to Mako just a little.
I agree. I mean, I agree. I think it's my favorite, but it's damn close.
I think Mako looks like it's a longer ride.
I don't know. Candemonium keeps on going. You're like, I think I'm done, and then it's like, you're gonna do this over by that fountain, and you're like, whoa, we're going in a circle. And,
Mako just doesn't do much. It goes up, down, weird turn, weird turn, done. I mean,
Yeah.
True.
but no, it rides as good as ever. It's so much fun.
Nice. It's good to know.
Nice and floaty.
Yeah. But other than just playing theme park guests, I've not been up to a whole lot.
Well, it seems like you really have been up to a lot.
I was saying good stuff because unfortunately for you, for Evan and I, our season has come to a close to where
I'm going to Busch Gardens next week.
Unfortunately, we had an amazing weather this past weekend.
This was a great closing weekend.
Oh man! So we had this past weekend, and of course the parks are closed for the season. So like 80-degree days, and you're just like, dang, I wish I could ride. And you see Tony Clark posting pictures of Steel Vengeance getting pulled off of the track, and you're like, well,
as you're literally standing outside in shorts and a t-shirt.
Yep, and you're like, dang it.
See, I never had those feelings at the end of the season, but I would get those in like April. You know, like March and April when it's like nice and warm out.
Well, I'll get it because it's like 80 degrees and you're just getting that itch and you're like, dang, I wish the park was still open. But obviously the 80 degree, it's so hard to predict because it's 80 degrees one day and then later on in the week and the next week it's literally going to be 40 degrees and here comes winter. So
and you know that if Cedar Point ever decides to say like, oh, we're going to do a couple bonus weekends in November, that first year they do it, it's going to be like 35.
Yep. That is going to be a blizzard and snow, and people are going to be like, why are they doing this? This is stupid.
And then they're going to cancel it, and they're never going to do it again. And then every other year, it's going to be 80 degrees.
Yeah, or it's going to be 80 degrees, and then there's going to be no one there to staff the place.
Or that too. Yeah. But anyway, so we had our closing weekend. We had a giant group photo.
Yeah, I saw that. It's the first one in a few years I've missed.
I normally count the heads, and I have been so busy, and then I also got sick right after closing day, that I have not counted the heads. So I normally do. I think if we go over 200, that'll be the most. So we'll have to find out and see. But we had a bunch of people that listen to the podcast too. Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. Awesome. That we're saying, hey, we listen to the podcast. We really like it. We really hope you guys continue it in the off season. And we're like, we're definitely going to. We're just trying to figure out like ideas and things.
Tell us what to talk about.
And they're like, oh, well, we can't wait. Like it's like so. Kyle, congrats to you. They said it sounds really good. They love it. Also, we've been getting some picture for the calendar that we're putting together. Some people have been submitting some photos, and they're saying, "Hey, love the podcast. Heard about it on the podcast." And awesome. So it's really cool. Awesome. So thanks again, Kyle. Again, you're a mastermind at what you do. So
I'm just so glad I'm so glad the photo went good because normally I don't miss a closing day. If this was a normal year, I would have been there. And there's always 50, 60 people there. But, I mean, there were a lot. I even looked
last year was really small, I remember.
Yeah. Everyone was there in perfect numbers. And everyone was also probably helped that, it wasn't snowing and 40 degrees out. And
we had such good weather this week.
It was a beautiful weekend and everything like that. So, we got to ride our last ride. We got to ride last ride of the night on, Millennium Force. And
that's right.
That was of the season, I should say. Yeah. And, we got to ride Steel Vengeance and close that out and stuff and everything. So, yeah, it was a good time. So,
yep.
But, unfortunately, everything has to come to an end. But a little segue into it. So now we get to watch construction on the webcams because that's the only thing we really can watch because I'm not driving 40 minutes to go look at Cedar Point when it's balls cold outside. Right now I could. It's not too bad.
Also, if any of you do go to Cedar Point in the off season, do not go on the causeway. Go across the bay. Don't go to the
unless
park.
You're going to Bay Harbor.
Yeah, okay. If you're going to Bay Harbor.
But go to Bay Harbor. Don't just we're going to Bay Harbor and then no.
Yeah, don't trespass because the park will not like that.
Yeah.
And they've got security.
And you're not going to see Dragster doing anything. So
exactly. And speaking of Dragster, Tony had the webcam pointed at Topville Dragster for a few days, and
we're
literally
a lot that Tony controls it.
Well, he pretty much kind of does. I'm just gonna put it out there that because he's
Tony, if you're listening, you have been outed.
He's moved the webcam during a I think it was like one of the holiday parties or something. He goes, guys, look at this, and he moves the webcam over, and then he's like, look, Valraven just got topped off, and then you could see like that. Check that out, and it was like, oh, cool. It was
cool.
It was pretty cool.
Right. So it's not a secret anymore.
Yeah, but yeah. So, and you could see still, you could see that nothing's happened with Top Thrill Dragster. It's still the same, at least at what we could see.
Yeah, I wonder if the construction walls are still up, or they just ripped those down and they're just going full blast now.
They took down those walls real quick around the Wild Mouse and
we could
the
see
pavilion. Like those were down like within a few days, and now they're just like extending all. They're like the construction crews are like, finally we can like drive around a little bit more and not be like so tightly cramped and everything. And then also, Evan, you wanna say what you got to see today at the on the webcam?
Yeah, I don't know. Because you had posted a picture of the webcam at some point, or a screenshot, where you could see the Scrambler and Matterhorn beginning to be torn apart. Scrambler's already like gone, which is crazy. Yes. Just being moved. But I saw, whenever I looked, I don't know if it was before or after your screenshot, but I could see that it looks like if Wild Mouse hasn't gone vertical yet, there is track and supports like sitting there ready to go vertical. You can't, with the
That's
webcam.
Cool. It's gonna go up. I mean, those coasters will go up real fast. It's not like building a Fury or a Millennium Force.
They don't want to be building that in the. They don't want to be building that in the winter. So that's going to be up probably by the end of the month. It's a small.
I mean, get that up, and then have everybody get covered over to like do the electrical work and things like that, and
hopefully the park really keeps us updated on the construction of that, because I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah,
it's going to really change that area. It's going to be really nice.
It might be done, I'd say, by winter chill out. They might just be like, hey, we've just got a few more things.
What if we ride it during winter chill out?
That's not going to happen, and you know it.
Kyle will be hot pissed.
No,
if we get to ride it.
I am gonna try. I am gonna try to come home for winter chill out this year. I think. I think it's for a good cause.
Breaking news. Yeah. Breaking news.
But that's always
see us at the 8 a.m. group of winter chill out.
Yeah. That's always
been
we're
all gonna try to get tickets, but they're gonna fly off.
Wait.
Oh, you got your winter chill.
Now that I said this, I won't. But I've never not gotten tickets. Like every time I've tried.
Oh, jeez.
Last year was dicey.
It was tough, but we got them.
We did.
Woo! Really. It's always I always get a few gray hairs when.
Yeah. Anytime Cedar Point puts anything online for sale, it's
like I gotta buy it now.
The word coaster stock too.
I didn't have any problems last year with chill out.
Jeez. I don't remember.
You're a lucky man. Lucky man.
So I don't know how to segue into this, but we're done with that topic. Logride, Karsten. Kyle,
we can talk a little bit about it. I mean, so if anybody doesn't know what Logride is, it's an app that you can download.
You can log the rides that you ride.
Right, exactly. And I think it's free, Evan, that you can.
Yes, it's a free download.
There's also
a
pro version.
$2 paid membership.
You can download it for free, and I think you can do like if you visit Cedar Point or Kings Island or something that day, and you log whatever rides you do, you can do that for free. But if you were like, oh, I visited Cedar Point on Sunday, and it's already Tuesday, and you're like, crap, I can't do that. So then that's when you got to buy the paid subscription, and then you can actually go back in the calendar and log whatever rides you got to ride.
I don't know how well this is going to work, but I'm going to try to show the interface. So
yeah.
My phone thinks I'm visiting Hollywood Studios because that's my closest park.
Yeah.
But like this is what it looks like, and then you go in, and it essentially you can it's a good way to keep track of your day. What rides you did, what shows you did. You can even
what
get
seats you sat in.
Yeah, you can even get real nerdy and say like I rode in seat 6-2 of car 3.
It's also cool though too because you could also keep track of your scores on like some of the dark rides that have the shooting games and
cool.
stuff.
And
so
like what kind of weather you rode it in, and
then you can save.
It's really dorky.
You can save trip reports. So like if you look, I have trip report saved from July 3rd at Kings Island, and like this is what I did.
And then it pops up.
We all three of us were there.
Yes.
Yep. It pops up and says, what's the highest coaster you rode, how fast you went that day.
How many inversions.
It's very, very nerdy. So if anybody wants,
it's so nerdy.
It's nerdy. It's kind of cool just to, because Evan, you were like, you challenged me to do it, so I was like, well,
you
why
did a
not?
better job of it than I did because I didn't do a trip report every time I went. I kept.
I did 92. I got 92 trip reports this year.
You went to the park 92 times.
No, it's like with all of everything. I did one for when I went on to Jersey and stuff. I did all of that.
So you walked through the gates of an amusement park 92 times this year.
I guess, yeah.
That's still insane.
Right.
But you did a trip report every single time you went. I didn't. I kept track of everything, but I didn't necessarily do a report. So my stats are literally just like I have numbers since I started doing it in 2020, and that's all I really have numbers for. I don't have like on June 8th of 2022 at Cedar Point, I rode Gemini, Maverick, and Gate.
Oh, see, I have that. I could tell you how many times I rode it.
So, but I can't tell you how many times.
Shoot out a date, and I'll see if I've got it.
July 15th, the closest to that.
All right, give me a second.
What did you do?
No, honestly, he was there that day. That was the last day that we went.
You said July what?
July 15th.
I wasn't there. I was on July 14th or 16th.
One of those days was the last day that I was there. You were there with me.
So July 16th, I rode 6 unique rides and 6 attraction experiences and rode 5 roller coasters.
Was one of them Valraven?
It was, let's see. It was Gemini, Magnum, Maverick, Steel Vengeance, and Millennium Force.
Okay.
And then also we rode Cedar Downs. I don't know why, but we rode Cedar Downs.
Cedar Downs? That's why? It's the best ride in the park.
But yeah, so it's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's really cool.
July 16th. That was the last trip that I went to Cedar Point before I moved here. You were with me.
Yeah.
I was not there that day.
You were in Poland.
I remember missing it.
It's very funny.
That's right.
Also,
I was at Energylandia that day.
If anybody and if you download this app, it's really cool. You can actually like during Halloween weekends and stuff, you can count how many times you go through the haunted houses too.
Really?
Yeah, they have a Horror Nights log app or Logride too.
Yep.
Oh, they do. That's right.
It's actually really, really cool, and it's very, very, very in depth.
You can even get so nerdy that you can say like the time that you went through.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really could.
I think the point of it is to like you get off a Magnum and you immediately get your phone out and say, "Yep, I rode Magnum in car 2."
Well, they've also got like an Apple Watch, like an app for the Apple Watch, and you literally can be like, "Bink," and you don't even have to pull your phone out. So it's super easy, super cool. Yeah. Super nerdy. Just real quick through my numbers. Obviously, you guys know that I went over 300 coasters this year. I rode 312 coasters. I saw 64 shows. I'm sorry, not this year. I don't know if this year or not. Maybe 64 shows in a lifetime. I've done 234 flat rides in a lifetime, and I've ridden 38 children rides.
Nice.
38 children rides.
Yeah. So, and I mean, the list goes on. Like, I mean, I've ridden 31 water rides. I've done 26 dark rides.
It's
19.
So in depth.
You know, it's so very, 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 very in depth. It's cool to see. Look back. My top attractions this year. I rode Steel Vengeance 83 times. I rode Millennium Force 51 times and Maverick 50 times. So. I mean, that's kind of a toss-up of you could see which one I like the most at the.
I was going to say, do you want to guess what my top 3 have been since 2020?
Steel Vengeance, Maverick, and probably Millennium Force.
Millennium and Vengeance, yes. Vengeance, I've ridden 181 times since 2020. Millennium, where is it? 154. Maverick was not the next one.
Oh.
What do you think it is?
Top Thrill Dragster.
No. Although that's kind of up there,
Magnum?
surprisingly. Magnum. Magnum is at 100 and where the heck did it go? 117 times since 2020.
I love it.
So, yeah. That's our little bit on Logride. It's really fun. It's really nerdy.
The last thing I want to talk about with Logride is, Carson, we have to know how many times on Giant Wheel this year?
Oh, come on. Ah, jeez.
Dork.
Because you rode that thing like
pull it up.
every time you went
Justin's
to the
watching
park.
this, and he just rolled his eyes so
Let me
hard.
see it. All right, everybody ready?
Yep.
Drum roll. I rode it a record amount of 22 times.
Okay, it's not that you rode it 22 times. You waited in line for it.
22 times, and I was able to con somebody into riding it with me because I can't ride it by myself. So either Kyle or Evan or Justin.
I rode it with you a handful
Kyle
of times.
Sierra, whoever. So.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, if you want to be able to look at things like that, Logride is your app.
You can be friends with. We could actually be friends with people on Logride. So if you want to check out all my crazy stats, friend me on Logride, and we'll go from there.
You not ride it more than not ride Giant Wheel more than like twice next year.
Hey, you know what? We've got some we've got some really good photos that are coming out in the calendar that were because I rode the Giant Wheel at night or the Giant Wheel during the day, and it looked really cool. So whatever.
So one thing I do have a trip report from, both on Logride and verbally, is I went to Kings Island's haunt for the first time in like 10 years.
Yeah.
For the on Friday of closing weekend. I'm actually going to pull up my trip report too, just so I could like reference it. Just kidding, I didn't make a trip report. Never mind. But I mean, okay, we all know Beast at Night is great. Orion, Mystic, Diamondback, they're all great at night.
Yep.
I was there for haunt because I haven't done their haunts in forever. Karsten, you and I had talked about it. We had talked about it on the show. I needed to go and try out all their houses. So we got there at opening. We stayed till close, and we were going to drive home after me being up almost 24 hours, but we didn't do that because so we stayed in a hotel.
Because you're not like me. I get it.
Yeah, but that let us stay like really, really till closing and get almost last ride of the night on the Beast. Yeah. And it gave us the time to do all the houses. So I'm not going to go like super in depth on all of them, but every single one of them was fantastic. The houses. Yeah. I have issues with the outdoor scare zones, but the houses were fantastic.
I would agree with those scare zones. They're kind of like lacking something.
Yeah. They're kind of small. They're kind of just like in weird spots.
Yeah, their scare zones are in very weird spots. Like the one over by like Chicken Shack that you just like.
Yeah. You enter Action Zone from that path directly left of the main entrance of the park, and then it's Pumpkin Eater, and then it just reaches to like in Vertigo. It's just that little. Yeah. It's not all of Action Zone. It's just that little half of it.
And then people are taking a bunch of like when I was there, people are taking like selfies and just like, I'm like, well, where's this? Like, so
I don't want to like throw anybody under the bus, but like people were like flirting with the scare actors and stuff. It's really. And then the actors weren't exactly curbing the behavior. Anyways, haunt season's over, so they can't get in trouble.
Right.
But the houses, I mean, so we started out with Madame Fatale's Cavern of Terror, which if you don't know, was in... Yes, it's inside of the crypt. I know that's what you were going to ask. And it's so cool because, well, one, the house is still designed very well, but the line goes through the line for the crypt, so you could still see a lot of the old theming. And when you're going through the house, if you look up, you're in the ride building.
Yep. Yeah, it's so tall.
It's scary. Like that. Okay, that's not what was scary about the house. But it was like kind of freaky. Like you feel so small inside of there. Mm-hmm. And the old Paramount dorks and enthusiasts, like that was so cool.
I'm not lying. When I went through that, I was like,
oh yeah,
looking up the whole time, not even like
of that. The actors got me a number of times because I'm like, oh crap,
You're like, oh look, there's where it used to turn and do all kinds of stuff, and they still have some of the theming hanging in there, I believe.
Do they still have that animatronic in line? That it's like a big bat looking thing.
I don't know.
It was there last year. I know for sure it was there last year.
We literally So the park opened at 6, and the houses opened with the park. So we went straight there and didn't wait in line. So it was really just a quick like, whoa, I'm in line for the crypt. Okay, now I'm in the house. But the house itself was really good. Yeah. And then, God, where did we go next? Oh, their new one. We went over to their new one, which is over in Action Theater. Remind me of the name. Hotel Saint Michel.
Yeah, that's the new one.
That was really fun.
That's a good one. It needed to be changed because Urgent Scare has been over there for so long.
Yeah, God, I even remember that when I was there last.
Yeah.
The coolest part of this house, and I could give spoilers now because nobody will remember in 11 months. There was this long hallway, and obviously it's a hotel. There's this long hallway of just it's a hotel hallway, and I don't know if this is something they do for every group that comes through, but an actor got like shoved out one of the hotel room doors, and she did this like exorcist like thing where she like bent over backwards, like,
oh wow,
and started walking at us, but she was like upside down.
Oh
like,
wow,
walking like crab leg style, but I don't even know how to explain it, but it was super freaky. And some guy also like, we were just kind of like looking around, and somebody came out from behind a curtain and like literally like slid across the floor. I don't know if they like had the floor. He almost fell, but that scared us really good too. So that one was super cool. Obviously, I've been talking about Killmart forever. That is like that one was kind of lacking actors, but that theme is so fun.
Doesn't it feel like you're at like a Black Friday that went wrong or something? Like
Kmart or Walmart on any given day.
And it's like, did you get to hear the announcement and being like, attention shoppers?
So it was so loud in there. I don't know.
Well, they have that car in there too that honks the horn like every 10 seconds.
It was loud, and all you just could hear was like like washers and dryers just like banging around.
Yeah.
That one was really hot in there too. I'm like, I do not feel bad, or I do feel bad for the actors. I do not envy them. My least favorite house was Chaos. Only
is that
because
the one
they
by
had
Orion?
No actors in there. Yeah, it's backed by Orion. Okay. It's like theme. This is another like weird theme.
It's like alien themed, isn't it?
It used to be like something about like it used to be game show or something, wasn't it? Like or game not game show.
It was like it was aliens or something last year to like coincide with Orion.
I think it was something like before Orion was built. It used to be like a game show,
or was it that like
not game show, but like it was like board games and stuff.
Was it
like,
that like
bored to death?
Yeah,
maybe that. Yeah. Bored to death.
Maybe
there was a sorority girl house at Kings Island sometime too. I don't remember the name of that.
Yeah, I don't remember where that was at, but I do remember. I
remember going through it, but I don't remember.
Remember, you used to exit like right next to the games.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember where it was at, but I remember that. That was a weird one too.
So Chaos, it was. They didn't have enough actors in there. We might have gone through during break or whatever.
Yeah.
But the theme is like a mad scientist type, or like, I don't know, like if you've watched Stranger Things and like they're in like seasons like 1 and 2 and maybe even 3. There's that like the giant wall of like going into the upside down, and there's like all the like scientists messing around with it. It almost gave that vibe, like where all this like something went wrong and all these scientists were killed.
Yeah.
And then there is like a couple people in alien outfits and stuff. So that was the kind of the theme there. And then what am I missing? Oh, Slaughterhouse over by Beast. You know what you're getting with that. I liked it better than our Slaughterhouse.
Did you get to? Did the room fall down on you?
No.
Oh. So that gets me all the time.
The park closed at midnight. We went through at probably 11:55, and nobody really cared anymore. And then we went and rode the Beast.
Someone in chat says the one that has the spinning tunnel always gets him.
Yeah, that was in Chaos. Yep.
Yeah, that one was good.
That's before
Cornered was
the
also
mirror
like
room.
a maze, but that was outside, and that's Cornstalkers.
Yeah.
Kind of cool to be like under Congo Falls because it kind of winds under there. But yeah, I overall totally agree with what you said about Kings Island Haunt, Carson. That they're maybe lacking a little bit on actors, and I think Cedar Point gives a bit focuses a little more on like character development with the screamsters. Where Kings Island, they clearly tell their actors just to boo,
Yeah.
Although designs and stuff,
they might be doing the same thing, but they might not just be at that level yet.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I probably got scared more at Kings Island than I did do it.
Oh yeah.
Well, you don't know the houses as good at Kings Island.
True. I mean, I go through Erie Estate and know every single haunted.
Yeah.
Right. I just like all the props and stuff that are on the walls, and like everything that like moves and like you're like,
they
what's
have
that?
A couple more like animatronic things in their houses, and Yeah, the houses themselves were so good and so many fun themes that are maybe a little different, like Kilmart. Like that's so awesome.
The one gripe I have with KI Haunt is after it came back from COVID, they shrunk it. Like they got rid of the Wolfpack house up in like
which is still like there. There's even still the sign.
Yeah. And then the Blackout house, like that building's still there. They're not using that anymore.
And they also got rid of the one that's like forever far away that you used to have to walk.
Orion.
Yeah.
I wonder if Orion has something to do with that.
It might.
But still.
Well, that was a long journey. That was a long journey back there. But that was always a good one though too.
One thing I forgot to mention too was, so you know how we have our opening ceremonies?
Yep.
Which were really good. Better than what Kings Island did, but their little opening thing. So, and I think they probably only do this on Fridays because the park opens at 6. So they have it roped off, International Street roped off, like right at the entrance sign or like the Kings Island logo.
Mm-hmm.
And they have this little spiel over the speakers, like, "Oh, the louder you scream, the more ghosts we can catch," or whatever. It's really cheesy, but and then they sound like a siren and like a couple fireworks go off. The
like
fire
the purge siren or a siren?
Kind of.
Okay.
And then like fire shoots off from International
Yeah.
Street and from the path leading to Fest House and then the path leading to Planet Snoopy. All the outdoor scare actors kind of just like converge and like one by one start walking towards you.
Oh,
down on International. And that was a super cool sight. It was almost like kind of like the zombie apocalypse-esque.
That's cool.
Because then the fog is rolling and you just see these like shadows of monsters walking towards you. And then they drop the ropes and everybody goes and runs toward Diamondback. But
nice.
Last year, they had a kind of similar thing, except it was like a radio station. So like you'd be on I Street before rope drop, and they'd be playing their music, and then it's like, "And welcome to Kings Island, where we're having the best day and blue ice cream and all that." And then it was like,
yeah.
"Welcome to Kings Island," and then they like come hustling down I Street, and then like the flamethrowers would go off.
Yeah, that's super cool. Although I will say, Midnight Syndicate does all the music at Cedar Point. I did not realize what a difference their music being played in the park makes compared to just like heavy rock music.
Yep.
Because the atmosphere at Kings Island was a little weird without the creepy Midnight Syndicate music.
Yeah.
So hats off to those guys.
I mean, Kings Island needs to work on their music anyway, because the amount of times that I go there and listen to like Fortunate Son,
same 3 songs,
and then
you get the bluegrass versions of all of them over by the beach,
and then you're like, it's just stuck in your head the rest of the time.
God,
I forget. It might have been on my birthday, but we were at Kings Island, and Jared was like, "Jesus, how many times do we have to listen to Fortunate Son today?"
Yep. Oh my gosh.
I love it.
And you guys were there for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh man. Well.
All right, so we only have a few more things left to talk about.
It's a long show, but that's okay.
This is going to be a long show because we have one more news story, and then we have our little awards section.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this news story isn't much to talk about.
No, not at all.
It was more hyped than it should have been.
So when I was at King's Dominion a little over a month ago, I noticed that Grizzly was all tore up. And we weren't really sure what was going on. We assumed it was getting retracked, but we weren't 100% sure. And then KD started teasing it, and now it's just a retrack, which
Restore the Roar.
Yeah, Restore the Roar, but a retrack is just normal maintenance. I mean, I get maybe they haven't done it in a few years, but like...
So it's basically like, and they didn't even, so they announced today on their blog that they were like, they officially said, "Yep, we're retracting it." But like, what was it, Friday last week? They posted on their Twitter like, "Oh, check back our blog on Monday. We have a big announcement." And then it was just them like, "Yeah, so Grizzly's getting retracked. We're not even."
I have a feeling it's gonna get like what Racer and the Beast got.
Well, I was thinking Gravity Group from the start, like Racer and the Beast, but they were like, they didn't even tell us like who's doing it. Like everybody's like, "Oh, it's gonna be GCI Titan Track." No, it's just gonna be regular GCI. No, it's gonna be Gravity. Well, they didn't tell us.
Nice.
So
that's just gonna keep everybody wondering, I guess.
So basically, the moral of the story is the Grizzly's gonna come back next year, and it's gonna be somewhat smooth, I guess.
Yeah.
And the Roar will be restored.
There you go. There's There's the breaking news.
Yeah.
I mean, good for them for taking care of it because with the exception of a few select parks and coasters, I do not think Cedar Point takes great care, or like Cedar Fair as a whole takes great care of their wooden coasters. Mm-hmm. Kings Island excluded because they do good.
They're not in this conversation.
But I mean, I do think it's good that they're taking care of it. But I think it was
a
little
you want to
overhyped.
see wooden coasters survive.
Yeah.
As wooden coasters. Sorry, RMC.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so part of our off-season kind of to-do list, want list, I guess, wish list, is that every week, or not every week, but every time we record, we'll have like a different kind of segment to do. You know, maybe some week we'll talk about how to plan a perfect day at Park XYZ, or other days, you know, just interesting things.
Highlight a certain park.
Yeah, things that we wouldn't necessarily have time to talk about while the parks are open, but now that it's the off season, do that. So in alignment with that, we have put together kind of a little award show, we'll call it.
Makes sense for the end of the season.
Yeah, It's kind of a reflection back on the season. So we've put together a couple categories. I'll read through them here. We have best coaster of the season, best flat of the season, best ride crew, best entree, best side dish, best event food, so like best food dish at CP Nights,
Frontier Fest, the Halloween weekend specialty food, the best of any of those.
Yes, best haunted house, best scare zone, best new merch.
Mm-hmm. Now, and I want to mention too that this doesn't like best coaster. This isn't necessarily what our favorite coaster is at Cedar Point. It's like what ride did we have the most fun on this year? This year in particular. And
also to add on to that, it's just our opinions and...
No, this is the most prestigious award this park will ever win. Anything will ever win, ever.
So, I mean, Evan, you've got yours. I've got mine. Kyle,
Kyle probably has most of these.
I can do
here for half the year.
I can do everything except haunted house and scare zone.
There you go.
I feel like we should actually do this like bottom to top because I feel like best coaster should be like the grand finale.
Okay.
The grand finale. Okay.
So let's start with best new merch.
Sounds good.
Who wants to start?
Would say I'll start. I'll start. I'm actually no, you start because I got to remember real quick.
Christ. I'm gonna go with. So Made to Thrill put out a ton of awesome stuff for the park this year, but I'm gonna particularly because I am a dork for pins. I'm gonna go for the Made to Thrill pins because they are the most high quality, awesome. They're amazing. I'm gonna go with those.
Since you're saying Made to Thrill, I need to go get mine because I got to change mine now.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm gonna say
I know what he's gonna get.
I think my favorite merch is gonna be the Hollow Weekends Made to Thrill poster. Like I thought
that particular poster.
Yeah, because there's and like. I guess best merch would be best new merch the Hollow Weekends. Like there's never been a Hollow Weekends like the houses that you could get. It was just kind of like bland and everything. So now it like had more things. So
Beer Emporium with everything.
Yeah. So
agreed.
That's mine.
Kyle, did you?
Because I think I bought 6 different T-shirts, and I go through the season seeing, oh, that's a cool shirt. Like I'll see the Millennium or whatever, but I won't buy it. But like freaking all the Hollow Weekend stuff, I bought 6 shirts.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So Kyle, if you didn't hear, his was the Made to Thrill Hollow Weekends poster.
But really, all the Hollow Weekend stuff. So
yeah. I have the Hollow Weekends poster hanging up in my living room right now.
See.
Besides, I'm going to give 2 here. Besides stickers, because I have a Yeti cooler and I put stickers all over it.
Awesome.
So besides the little vinyl stickers, this little guy.
All right, hold on. I'll be back.
All right. Well, let's move on while Evan is going to find.
Did you get yours?
Oh, does he have it already? Are we good?
We forgot.
Oh, jeez. You guys and your seagulls.
Yes.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, let's go to best scare zone, Evan.
Cutthroat Cove.
Okay. All right.
Don't really have much to say, but Cutthroat Cove has always been really solid, and I really like it.
I would say mine's Tombstone.
Tombstone really improved this year.
It was really, really good this year. There was a lot of sliders, and there was a lot of it seemed like there was a lot of scare actors every time I went by.
I will say, in general, the scare zones this year were better than they've ever been.
Yes.
Especially early in the season. I always used to laugh, and we probably have said this like 3 times on the show already. I used to laugh at Harvest Sphere.
Yeah.
If I wasn't going to say Cutthroat Cove, I probably would have said Harvest Sphere.
That was a solid one too. All right, best haunted house.
You go first this time.
Mine was obviously Bloodbath because it was freaking awesome, and it was really
Awesome
it was new.
theme.
It was in depth. There was a lot of story to it. There was a lot of energy always with it. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would say.
If I'm not going to say Bloodbath, just to kind of keep some variety here, I'm going to go with Area State just because I'm partial to that. And they did a really good job this year.
Yeah.
They really did. Area State was solid every single time I went through it.
I agree.
And it had a fun little pre-show thing with the Ouija board. And
Mm-hmm. It was good. Best event food of the season.
Kyle, you start this time.
All right. So I have 3 that I'm going to try to narrow down. My options are the quesadilla burger from Wild Frontier Nights.
With that avocado mayo or whatever.
Yep. Or the the grilled cheese and then the burger and then the second grilled cheese. That was pretty good too. Yes. I think that was also a Wild Frontier Nights thing.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
And then the donut burger from Frontier Festival.
Yes, I remember that.
The only one of those 3 I tried was the quesadilla burger.
That was so good. That was so good.
Yeah, because I remember the night that we went, all 3 of us went. You guys went to get another ride on Vengeance, and I got that quesadilla burger, and then I got 2 and put 1 in the locker for when you guys were done.
I remember that because we were eating it as the park was closing. We were like, we gotta eat it. We were eating it, and
God, it seems like forever ago.
I know. It really does. Like
it was
think about all
June. It was June 11th because I'm trying to find photos.
Evan,
I'm gonna say, and this if you've listened to our Creators Day episode, this won't come as a surprise to you. The Nashville hot chicken tenders from Halloween's this year. Oh my God, those were the best.
And I'm gonna say the pumpkin roll from Coasters.
Yeah. If I wasn't gonna say the Nashville hot chicken tenders, I was.
Yes, that pumpkin roll was just.
You know what sucks?
Money.
Though? I didn't get to eat that pumpkin roll any other time besides when we got it.
I got it twice.
Really? Because the line for Coasters was always.
I'm sorry I didn't put it on my Snapchat, but yeah, I got it twice because I felt like a fatty when I kept getting it.
Every time I wanted to get, me and my mom probably tried to get it 3 or 4 times because I told her about it and she really wanted to try it. And every time we go to even if the park wasn't even that busy, the line for Coasters was back because people knew about the pumpkin roll because we talked about it. Obviously, the line was back to dive in to get into Coasters. I'm not waiting an hour for it.
Right.
So.
All right. Best side of the season.
So
this side dish.
Yeah. You got your main entree, but no, we're breaking up the food into.
I'll go first. Mine's gonna be fruit because they've stepped up their fruit game tenfold. Because normally it was a dull cup of processed fruit.
It was even dull.
Or whatever, and it would be okay, cool, and you're it would be in the. I mean, not that that's bad, but it's just I want more variety. This year there was there was the strawberries, kiwi, there was cantaloupe, all kinds of oranges.
And everything was fresh.
Everything was fresh and everything was good. So I've got to go with the fruit. I know what Evan's going with, I believe, but Evan.
Such a tough. No, corn. Definitely the corn.
The corn from where?
Farmhouse. And you guys already know what I'm going to say for the entree.
Yep.
Corn. Yeah. And The potatoes were so good too, but
Potatoes were good.
corn.
Every side from that place was so freaking good.
Yeah.
I had the Brussels sprouts on closing weekend, and those were stinking good too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like the kid on TikTok.
The corn kid. Yeah.
The corn kid, but
The corn.
oh my god, it was so good.
It was. You got it every single time I was with you. Like, you're like,
I think I got potatoes on like OSU day, and they were great.
Yeah.
And I think I got it maybe like
switched
4 more times that year because the corn was just
Yeah, for sure. Kyle?
I don't know how long it lasted or if any of you tried it, but at Corral they had potato salad that was
super good too.
Yes, that was so stinking good too. That was still around on closing
and
weekend.
I normally don't like potato salad that much, but it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just say that normally, like, I've got like kind of like a list of like, okay, I need to hit this spot, this spot, this spot, this spot. It was very, very hard on closing weekend to figure out what spots I needed to hit because it was going away.
Them running out of food kind of helped.
Well, that too.
That's not a knock on things. Like I understand it's closing weekend.
Right.
The potato salad at Farmhouse was super good too, and they were different. Like the Corral
they were different.
The Corral potato salad was different than Farmhouse.
It was made with like I think the red potatoes. If anybody is
no, that was super good.
It was good.
All right,
best entree.
Do we even need to talk about it?
I would say
I want to mention something.
Steak/burger for me.
So I'm not even going to talk about steak. I think I've mentioned steak on every single episode this year. So aside from that, the Coaster's burger was incredible.
Yes.
Chicken tenders from the Corral, any flavor, especially the Thai chili.
Yes.
Those are really good. And then something I had on closing day because they ran out of steak, like literally 2 minutes before I got into Farmhouse. I was really sad because like it's closing day and I was really looking forward to my last meal.
You have to go all winter without getting that steak.
I know. I didn't I got my last meal, but I didn't know it was my last meal, and I'm really sad about that.
Right.
But so I tried the jalapeno infused or whatever sausage.
Oh.
At Farmhouse.
Okay.
And it was there all year. I wanted to try it all year, but I could never bring myself to not get the steak in favor of it.
Right.
So I finally did. That was very good. Like, I will be getting that next year regularly. It was super good.
Cool.
And on top of it, they give you a grilled jalapeno with it.
Oh.
Like fresh jalapeno.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, well, it's grilled. Usually grilled stuff isn't as spicy as it would be typically. So I take a big old bite out of it. Probably it's a pretty decent sized jalapeno. Eat like half of it. I thought I was going to die. My tongue hurt. And I like spicy stuff. I mean, Garston, you know this.
Yep.
It was painful. So be warned with the little jalapeno, the big jalapeno they give you. And the sausage itself is pretty spicy too because it's got bits of jalapeno in it. But it was super good. Oh, and they didn't have corn on closing day either. So I had potatoes and sausage as my final.
Potatoes.
as my final meal at Cedar Point.
Nice.
Kyle?
I'm not denying that Farmhouse was awesome and a huge step up for like Cedar Point food.
Yep.
And I'm gonna get some flack for this, but my favorite is Mac Shack because I love to go in and just put like 20 different things on macaroni and cheese.
Yeah. Okay. Has anybody told you that Mac Shack didn't operate all of Halloween weekends?
No, but it doesn't surprise me.
And I don't think it's coming back, just from looking at it.
I mean, because I always liked Pinks. I was one of the only...
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Pinks was good.
Yeah.
I know Pinks won't come back, but nothing else deserves to operate in that building besides Pinks.
Just have it stay closed.
Maybe Mac Shack will be the part or all of the Grand Pavilion. Hopefully not all of it.
Mac Shack is just... It's so hit or miss because, like, it'll just go through, like, it'll be closed for a month straight, just out of nowhere.
I just don't understand. It's so easy. It's freaking mac and cheese with toppings. How hard is it?
They need the giant cheese block.
Yeah.
They made
All right. Well, we're gonna keep this positive, so we'll talk
Yeah.
about that on another.
I didn't eat Mac Shack this year though, so that's all I'm gonna say about
Yeah,
that.
I
Oh my
didn't,
God.
I didn't eat that either.
So
Didn't even walk in the building.
not this past year, but during the 150th, when they had that like 150th food festival where you could buy tickets and go get like an entree. We would take our lunch break because that was when I worked at the park, and we would go over and just get like 10 big bowls of like Mac Shack, and then like split them, like all try a little bit of each one. Oh, it was so good.
I love it.
That's enough mac and cheese to last a year.
Yeah.
That is a lot. That is a lot.
All right.
All right, now
so
we're getting into the nitty gritty.
the ride ones, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the best
Okay.
ride crew of the season.
Ooh, this is a tough one. I literally wrote this up like 3 days ago. I should have been like thinking about it, but one of you start.
I can go.
Go ahead.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna say I can't remember the boat ride off the top of my head. I'm so sorry.
Snake River Expedition.
Yeah, Snake River Expedition.
That's out of left field. I didn't think any of us were gonna say that.
I'm gonna say that because every single time I had, like, it doesn't matter if there was 3 people on the boat or if there was a ton of people on the boat, and it seemed like they at times maybe they were like a little light staffed or something. But oh my gosh, the one time, like, by the way, it's just they're the whole entire crew, like the whole entire
From
staff
the live
over there.
department and the rides.
Yeah.
department.
So the one time we were riding the boat and there was one of the actors, and it was like towards the end of the day or whatever. Well, he ended up putting sticks in his arm like pockets, and he tucked his arms away or something. So it's like long sleeves and whatever. So he was acting like he was like some kind of monster, like swamp monster. He's like, "I'm the swamp monster." And then the guy on the boat was like, yeah, aren't you supposed to shoot the guy that's taking the gold? And he's like, "Oh, I gotta do that." So he like goes and like picks up something and chucks something across the water, and it goes into the trees, and then all of a sudden they timed it perfectly, and the boom went there, and then they were going there. It goes, "Oh, you got me!" And it was just, it had to be there to see it. But I'm sad I didn't get to record it, but everybody on the boat was like crying. It was that funny. So yeah,
That's awesome. I only rode that ride once this year, but I did have a really good run through of it. It was really good.
yeah. That was,
All of my best memories with that ride this year, and this is a little rundown after dark, if you will. But that seemed to always be the ride that I would do after getting very drunk at Frontier Fest.
You go screw around.
Yeah, and we'd go like way overreact for everything they'd say. So they'd be like, "Stick 'em up," and we'd, "Whoa!" You know, like. So I honestly might have to pick that one too, just because they're so good with improv. Like with any situation, they can make it a good ride.
yeah.
Yeah. That even goes back to last year, their first year. I mean, we had a really good time on it a few different times.
Yeah. For sure.
So I'm going to change things up and just be dorky. But Carson, you'll remember this from, I don't think it was Wild Frontier Nights, but when we rode Steel Vengeance and we got the trains crossing.
Oh, yeah.
The Steel Vengeance crew in general, just, I mean, dealing with what they have to deal with that ride and just blowing through people like no tomorrow.
They're always moving that line.
really-
They're always boom, boom, boom. Like, they were the fastest crew. They get the award. Like, I don't know what they were able to push through and stuff, but they seem like they were always.
They were awesome.
Same with Magnum too. Like, Magnum obviously last year. Last year was like, when they were running 3 trains and they were just like boom, they were just cooking 3 people through. But Steel Vengeance, man, they were hustling.
Like so Cedar Point, I expect like a golden Snoopy sitting in the Steel Vengeance booth this next year because we gave them that award. So
yeah, that's
really prestigious.
Right? Maybe
our word really carries a lot of weight.
Yeah, right. For sure. But anyway, so yeah, best flat of the season.
Mm-hmm. So what flat ride? Maybe not necessarily your favorite flat ride because Skyhawk is my favorite. But which one did you have the most?
I'd say
fun on?
Skyhawk. I'd say Skyhawk and getting half rides on opening day. Yep.
I was gonna say that not because Skyhawk is my favorite flat ride like ever. Opening day. So the quick story was we had so much opening day, if you guys remember, was the worst weather day. It
Yep.
wasn't raining or snowing, but it was so windy. Nothing opened with the park. Nothing opened till like 3:00.
Yeah.
And Skyhawk was one of the few rides that did open. So Karsten, you and I get in line for it, and there was some sort of technical error. And then they finally get us on it, and we get the all clear. It just doesn't move. And then we get the all clear again, and then it's all right. We're going. We swing once, we swing twice, and then it just nope.
Yep.
And then they're like, okay, guys.
Yeah, it was half swings, but we're like, do we count it? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I counted it on the log
It
ride.
was just a really, really short cycle.
Yeah, it
And
was
then
interesting.
Yeah, and then my other one, and I only rode it once this year, was for Professor Ripcord.
Professor Delbert's Frontier Fling.
Yes,
There you go.
I rode it once. Rode it with a friend from Orlando. That's not Kyle.
Yes, because this was about a month before I moved to Orlando.
Yeah.
I was there that night.
Were you there that night? There was
because-
a big group of us.
So we did 2 different rides. I was on the first ride. You were on the second.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so it was me and you, Carson, and then
Yep.
if you guys are members of Coaster Crew, Tim Holleran.
Oh
It was
man,
just great fun to be with. We had such a blast.
yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
Carson was peeing himself. Tim rides these things like no tomorrow down in Orlando. We're going up in we're going backwards up. the
Oh
thing.
my
And
god.
Tim, it makes like the vest makes like a creaking noise, and Tim goes, "Oh, I don't normally hear that that noise," and I start losing it.
Yep, and you're like, I think you were you were the one that had to pull the, weren't you?
I volunteered, but like I'm thinking, well, so Tim rides these things like basically every day, and then he's saying, "Oh, it doesn't normally make that noise." He was probably screwing with us, but
The way that he said it, and it sounded like super serious, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Like,
we
we're
are
gonna
gonna die in this
We're gonna
park.
die. We are going to. I've never ridden it with 3 people either.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Oh my god, that was so.
That
fun.
was a good one. That's a good one. I like that.
So
Good
that's
stuff.
mine.
Kyle, did you ride any flat rides or?
Yeah, I do like my flat rides. My favorite crew is probably Cedar Downs because it seemed like every time I rode it, they were like actually announcing it like it was a horse race.
Oh yeah.
So they
yeah.
like name the horse. They'd be like, the 100, the 200, the 300, and like actually,
That's awesome.
like, oh, they're making the pass. So I thought that was cool. Matterhorn is my honorary runner-up because my little cousins, Max and Sam, they are 3 years old and 5 years old, and they're just getting to that age where they really like rides. Max was just talking my ear off about how earlier in the day he rode Matterhorn, and he got car like 13 or something like that. And one of the ride ops heard him and then assigned him that car again, and he couldn't believe it. He's like, "Oh, this was the same car I was in earlier today." Like,
Oh,
he
that's
keeps
awesome.
like tugging my shirt and like, "I rode this earlier today," and I'm like, "Awesome, buddy!" Like,
You told me.
I was like, "That's so cool." So that was fun too.
I'd say my honorary mention would be Giant Wheel because they had to put up with me 22 times, and they would see me coming around taking pictures like, wow, and they knew that we were with CP Rundown, and they're like, oh, get more pictures for CP Rundown. I'm like, yep, we're like, oh, thanks a lot. Yeah, right, Evan? Yeah.
That's all inside joke there.
Yeah. So
Oh my god.
that was fun. That was cool that the park lifted the ban on taking pictures on the Giant Wheel, and we were able to get some really cool pictures.
You took advantage.
I sure did.
Some really awesome photography up there, though, just of the park, not necessarily of the boardwalk.
Right. And then last is going to be best coaster of the season.
Drum roll, please. There we go. Kyle, you want to start? Because we kind of skipped you for Ride Crew.
Sure. My best coaster of the season, the one I always had the most fun on, was Maverick.
Okay.
Just because I rode Maverick a lot this year, a lot more than I normally do, because normally it's a pretty long line, and the capacity isn't the greatest, and you don't get on it all that much. But since that is one of my favorite rides at the park, and I knew I was moving away, I made a point to ride it every time. And it seemed like more often than not, I would ride it with a group of like 10 people, and we'd have like our own whole train.
That same night
Yeah.
with that we rode the
Yep.
the ripcord.
Yep.
Yeah. That was fun.
That's just always really fun to have like your own train. You can screw around and say whatever you want and act like an idiot.
Were you with us when we got last train of the season on that in 21?
Yeah, I was.
Okay. Because we had, I think, a group of 12, and
Yeah.
we were on the last. We by default were on the last train of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
good
awesome.
stuff. Love it.
Carson, me or you?
Oh, you go, and then I'll finish.
I am going to say Millennium because for whatever reason, that ride gets a lot of hate in the coaster enthusiast community for some reason.
It is one of the
farce.
most divisive rides ever.
Yeah.
I just had so much fun on that ride this year, especially on closing day. As a result of getting food poisoning. Oh God, that's such a touchy subject from when that happened.
Oof.
As a result of eating some not great food in the park at a location, we got front of the line passes, up the exit passes, and me and my girlfriend, we were like, we're going to use these on Millennium. And we finally got the opportunity to use those on Millennium on closing day, and we got the front seat. I think it was the first time we rode the front seat all season, and it was just great. So every single time we rode Millennium, it was a blast this year.
Well, obviously, we said, Steel Vengeance crew was also hauling and stuff and everything, but I actually want to say Magnum's crew.
Magnum crew year over year is just always stellar. They always hire amazing people for Magnum.
Yeah,
so that was your best coaster of the season?
A solid, huh?
So that was your best coaster of the season?
I mean, yeah, I'd say
or
so.
Or did you just kind of forget the bit about the crew?
Yeah. I mean, I would say the best coaster of the season probably be Magnum for me, just because it's always a solid. It's, I think it's great. You know what? The effects were working a lot better this year. Mm-hmm. The lighting was also like
so fun
in the tunnel, and
it almost never stacked.
No, yeah, it didn't really stack a whole. Like, I didn't notice any of it. You didn't hear the sea brake squeaking or anything. So yeah. So I would say Magnum. Plus, I love the view that you can get. You can see Lake Erie. You can see the water park.
That long lift hill. Long cold lift hill on closing day.
Yeah, that was a little chilly, but
yeah. So Magnum's always fun. So there's the end of our most prestigious awards ever.
Yeah.
I'm sure this will become a yearly thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do one for Kings Island because we went to Kings Island enough.
Hopefully
I went to Kings Island more than Cedar Point this year, so I'm down for that.
Yeah. We can take mental notes next year for when we.
Maybe we'll wait till after Kings Island closes for Winterfest, because we'll have food to talk about from that and stuff.
There's also a better than not chance that I make it to Winterfest this year, so I also might have stuff to talk about. Maybe we'll do a little podcast meetup. Yeah,
we could. Anybody wants to come on down?
We're not going to get like ERT or anything, but like if you want to come say hi.
We can't afford that.
Now that you remember
what
our
come say hi. Like. I mean, the credit card's maxed out by Kyle buying a bunch of stuff on it. So
yeah. But if you buy enough calendars, ding.
Hey, right there's the ding right there. Ding.
Speaking of which, where can we buy the calendars?
So the calendars will be going on sale hopefully by the end of this week. They will be on cprundown.com/store, and you'll be able to preview every single month, and you'll be able to see if your calendar made it, if your photo made it. There was a lot of submissions, so unfortunately we've only got 12 months to pick from, and then we've got a little bit of staff. So really
I really love the cover photo this year.
The cover photo is
not that I'm biased or anything.
Maybe we'll post a preview of the cover photo tomorrow.
Little teaser.
Well, it was our Facebook cover photo for a while, wasn't
it? Little teaser. It just pops and it looks really cool. And let's just say Evan was on a tour before the sunrise, and let's just keep it at that.
I think we talked about it on the show.
We definitely did.
We probably did. So, but yeah.
Well, yeah. All right. So that was probably our longest show.
Yeah,
in history.
Good God, we're at 1 hour and 32 minutes.
I'm exhausted.
Hey, you know what? We won't be recording most likely next week, so
we won't
We'll
What
see.
day is today? Monday.
Yeah.
Today's Monday.
We're off we'll be off the rest of this week, but maybe like late next week, we'll chat.
Maybe
about,
on Thursday or something.
My trip to Busch Gardens.
Oh,
Yeah, I really want to hear about that since I was just there like a month
And you
ago.
rode Pantheon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know anyone else who's rode Pantheon.
And it's not official. So their Winterfest, as they call it, Christmas Town.
Christmas Town.
It's not officially Christmas Town yet, but the website says Christmas Town Preview. So I'll get a little taste of.
Ooh.
I don't know. It's basically we're open for Christmas Town, but like not all the lights.
I thought
will
it
be
was
up yet.
wasn't it like a pass holder preview or something, or maybe not because it's like
They
a.
have that like a random like. Thursday.
Maybe they're gonna like let you preview some of the food. Maybe that's the preview.
I think it's open.
I don't know. Busch Gardens has really good food. Like I'm like
Trappers.
we always talk about Cedar Point's food and stuff. I really think Cedar Point set a different level for amusement park food. So Cedar Point's here now, and Busch Gardens like just below, and SeaWorld just below. But
I used to think Busch Gardens was like the best.
Yes.
Last year, it sucked.
Oh.
Their food was terrible.
Well.
So.
Hey, I had a beer and pretzel in Grogan's Pub. It was pretty good.
I might just get a pretzel. I don't know. We'll see.
You can't screw that up, Kyle.
Like,
you just
yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, I think this Christmas Town preview was really just we're gonna open for Christmas Town, but just don't be pissed if not all the lights are up yet.
Yeah.
And not all the shows are ready yet. So.
Oh, you
I'm
might be
prepared to
getting
ride
screwed
Apollo.
by that hurricane. Hopefully they don't close. Yee.
Right now, it looks like Friday's a washout, which is fine. I don't care about that. We're not going to make it on Friday because I work. Saturday, the park doesn't open till 2. They're open 2 to 10. And it's looking like the rain should be out of the area by around 2.
Nice.
At least that's the last forecast.
Yeah, then we'll definitely we won't say definitely.
We haven't bought our tickets yet, and we have a hotel that is free cancellation. So
Well, there you go. That's putting your money where your mouth is right there.
Yep. So we'll see.
Perfect.
I might be driving all the way to Virginia just to go to some random FEC in Fredericksburg that I found to get a credit. So, it's not the credit I wanted.
Well, you could always go visit the Capitol or something.
You could go visit my my company's training center. It's like an hour from Busch
there you
Williams.
go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, so is King's Dominion, but they're not open this weekend
Right.
Bastards.
at all.
Wow. Supposedly
So
they're open all year
so-
round, but yet they closed on the weekend.
Yeah, they're closed this weekend. They were closed last weekend. They're closed this weekend. They're closed next weekend, and then they reopen for Winterfest. Like you couldn't have given me like just a preview or something like a bonus weekend. I'm not.
You're
even
like,
asking
I haven't
$5
used my pass enough. I need more free food.
I want to try their prime rib. I've heard all about it. This is a food show more than anything.
Right.
Right.
Anyways, all right. Good night, guys.
Yeah.
All right, let's here we go. So thank you for tuning in. This is probably the longest episode we've ever done.
It will be the longest.
Probably
Yeah,
the
we're
longest, yeah.
at about an hour and 35 minutes, but thank you for tuning in. Like we said, we're not super sure how the off season is going to go, but we hope to record at least twice a month. So we'll keep you guys posted. We're open to feedback and all that good stuff. But as always, we will see you next week. Be kind to your ride operators, and we will see you on the midway. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.